What's up, movie buffs? Dad and daughter movie reviews. Recently on the channel, we did our first episode together. It's ranking the Friday the 13th series from our least favorite to our favorite. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Leave a comment in the section below of that video. Tell us how your series ranking is compared to ours. And then also with this one, we're gonna have three different lists we're gonna break down here. Our favorite character from each movie, our favorite kill from each movie, and what dead character from each movie we would bring back if we could. So without further ado, let's get to that list. Starting out with the first movie, the original Friday the 13th, 1980, my favorite character is Jack. I'm a huge Kevin Bacon fan. I really like that character, so I'm going with Jack. Who do you got on your list?
I have Brenda. She's a very light and bubbly character.
Very light and bubbly, absolutely. Part two for me is going to be Ted. Very goofy, kind of comedic character. Somebody that I think, we can all kind of relate to in some way. So who do you got?
I have Ted.
Ted
He's
as well?
the goofy, funny character that I enjoy watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Part three for me is going to be Shelly. I think, he has a great ability to make you annoyed at him one moment and then make you feel sorry for him the next. We all have kind of a friend like that, I think, throughout our lives, and he gives Jason the iconic hockey mask, so I'm going with Shelly.
I'm going with Chris because the actor that plays her does a really good job of making her look scared, like it's Jason.
Yeah, for sure. Part four for me is going to be Jimmy Jimbo. Big fan of Crispin Glover. The kind of way he makes that character, kind of seem like he's a novice in a lot of things, and then finally accomplishes his goal, and then, shortly after that meets his demise. But big fan of Jimbo.
I have Jimbo there too because he's funny, and I smile when I see him walk on the screen. He's funny.
Also, we can't forget the dance.
Oh, the dance.
that kind of makes that whole movie, I think. Part five for me is going to be Violet, arguably my most favorite character of the entire series. I'm a big fan of the 80s, the style, the music, and she really personifies that with her look, the clothing, the jewelry, the makeup, the hair, and her dance in there is pretty much, I think, Jimbo's is more like funny and whatnot, but hers is, I think it is awesome. Like, you could just watch that. So for me, it's going to be Violet.
I have Reggie the Reckless. He's funny. He screams like a little girl. It makes me laugh. He thinks he's mature, but he's really not.
Yeah, for sure. Part six for me is going to be Court. Court is that kind of loose, kind of party animal, nonchalant, doesn't really care about anything, just there to have a good time. Again, we all have had a friend like that, that we can relate to in our lifetime. He's kind of a ladies' man and just kind of, a little bit suave, so I'm going with Court.
I have Megan. She's an absolute girl boss. She doesn't need help from anyone. She knows what she's doing, and she's really stubborn, I think, for the best.
Yeah, for sure. Especially being, the daughter of the sheriff. Part seven for me, I went back and forth, but I'm going to go Eddie. I think every scene that he's in the movie, he kind of steals the scene. He doesn't need any like special effects or powers or anything like that. He's just, who he is, the star Lacan, the star mummy type thing, thinking that Melissa really likes him, like how naive that character is. And the scene when he's, opening all the presents up, at the towards the end of the movie, I thought was a really funny scene.
He has no craps to give.
No.
He's just opening them up. I have Tina as mine. She again is the only person that I think could actually take Jason down with her mind powers. She doesn't need help from anyone. She knows what she's doing, and she will not listen to adults.
Part eight for me is going to be Julius. I'm a huge boxing fan. I like that character. I like, him kind of standing up to McCullough and saying, "School is out, McCullough." And then that scene at the end when he's boxing Jason on the roof might be arguably my favorite scene of the entire series. So I'm going Julius, part eight.
I have Julius for part 8 too. He's the only one that fist fights Jason. Like, he has no fear of just going at it. That's cool.
No, yeah, absolutely. The only person in the series really to do that. Part 7 for me, Steven. I think he's a misunderstood character. People throughout the movie think he's this, he's that, he's one thing, he's that. But you, as the audience, kind of get to see who he is, see his true character, and that he just wants to be there and help. And so I'm going with Steven.
I have Steven too. When you look at him, you think dork, but he's really not. He's with Duke, when he was breaking his fingers, he showed a lot of bravery there because he really needed to know how to get rid of this guy so that his ex could be safe.
For sure, for sure. A lot of character moments for him in that movie. Part 10, I'm going to go with Sonoran. He's the creator of KM14. I just really like his like scientific smart brain slash comedy slash kind of lightheartedness. He plays a big part in the movie. I really like the scene where he's trying to kind of puts up that thing at the end of the movie where he puts like the virtual thing around Jason to make him think he's at Camp Crystal Lake. I thought that was really cool, so I'm going with him.
I have KM14. She got guns. It's just that you don't want to mess with her.
Yeah, it was kind of cool watching her kind of transform her character throughout the movie to kind of being that like badass at the end. That was kind of funny. Part 11 for me, Freddy vs. Jason is going to be Will. Maybe a nostalgic pick for me because I like John Ritter, and his son looks a lot like him and reminds me a lot of him. But I thought he did a real good job with the character of knowing that he knows what he saw and being locked up and institutionalized, and knowing that he needs to get out and that he needs to help, and kind of showing that kind of that bravery and that intestinal fortitude to come back and help Laurie. I'm going with Will.
I have Laurie. She's a good final girl. I like her. She is brave. If it was me, I would not have put Jason in that van. I would have been like, oh, he's trying to run. But no, she was like, why don't we put him in here? Like, she's really smart too.
No, she is. She really, really steps up in this movie in a big way. The remake for me is going to be Trent. I know that that's a controversial pick. He's a douchebag. He's a jerk. He's all of these things. But I think that shows how well he played the character. And even though he is a douchebag and all these types of things, he also has moments where you kind of like him, and he makes that kind of douchebag a little bit more likable, I think, than others in other movies. So I'm going with Trent.
I have Trent too. I think he plays Trent. The actor plays Trent really well. I think that he's a jerk, but like every movie needs a jerk, and he is that jerk, and he's really good at playing the jerk.
Agreed. We're gonna get into our favorite kills. Ooh, our favorite kills of each movie. First one, I'm going Jack. That's the arrow through the throat on the bed that's spinning and kind of the blood spurting out. I think it's a very classic scene, so I'm going with Jack.
Me too. That's a really good kill. Yeah.
And then part 2, I'm going to go with Mark, guy in the wheelchair, getting the machete to the face and kind of sliding down the stairs. While you feel bad for him and you feel sad, it's also kind of pretty funny how it's all done. So it's kind of that mix of you're pissed, but you're also laughing a little bit.
I have Mark too, and I think it's funny how he just continued going down the stairs without tipping over. I was like, how do they do that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Part 3, Rick. This kill isn't really as good in 2D as it is in 3D. We've watched it both in 2D and 3D, and it is more effective, obviously, in 3D. But getting picked up and having his head smashed and the eyeball coming out. Again, just an iconic kill throughout the series.
I put Rick down too. The first time we watched this was in 3D, and this was the only kill that I watched because my dad told me that it was really cool.
For sure, one of the best. Part 4 for me is Axel. Kind of a douchebag tool. Gets the saw in the neck and then gets his head kind of turned around and pretty brutal. So I'm going with Axel in part 4.
I have Jimbo. I like the corkscrew and then he gets his head sliced. I like how Jason put him up in the doorway. Like he nailed him to the doorway, and then when Jason walked to the door, he just ripped him off, and you just see his hand like
Yeah.
That was cool.
Very, very brutal. Part 5 for me is going to be Eddie, just because I think that this scene, there isn't really a kill like this throughout the scene. Like, a lot of it's machetes, axes, throat slashing, that type of thing. This one, he throws like the leather band around his face and then uses the log to kind of twist and kind of crush his skull. So that's why I went with Eddie, part 5.
I have Joey for part 5. I think that was a really cool kill.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's not technically Jason that
Yeah.
does it, or even Roy, it's a brutal, like, shocking scene in the movie. So, I would agree that's a really good kill. Part 6 for me is going to be Sheriff Garrison when he gets folded over backwards. Just shows the sheer power and force of the new zombie Jason. So I'm going Sheriff Garrison, part 6.
I have Nikki. She gets her face shoved into the side of the RV, and there's just like an indent. That's really cool.
No, it was really cool.
I was like, oh.
You haven't watched the Nightmare on Elm Street series yet, but there's kind of a scene that kind of looks similar to that in A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, which kind of remind me of it. But again, a very cool kill. Part 7 for me is the sleeping bag kill from what
Judy.
Judy is her name in the movie. Not really a main character, but probably the most iconic kill in the history of Friday the 13th. Just picking it up and smashing it against a tree. Kane Hodder, on the spot decided he wanted to do that, and so they did it, and the rest is history.
I have Judy's sleeping bag kill. I think it just shows the power that he threw her against a tree once. She's dead. I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay.
Part 8 for me is going to be Julius boxing Jason on the rooftop and getting his head knocked off. Again, a very iconic kill in the series. So I'm going Julius, part 8.
He doesn't have a name, but it's the boxer in the sauna when Jason takes the rock and just shoves it through his stomach. I think that was so creative, and I was like, that must hurt.
Very cool.
It was cool.
Very cool. Part 9 for me, Shelby. Working at the diner and getting thrown on the grill and kind of melted the skin. I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm going Shelby.
I don't think she had a name, but it was the owner of the diner, and he punched her face, like her mouth in.
Oh yeah.
And it like went in. I was like, oh.
Yeah, smashed her whole face in.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really brutal kills in Jason Goes to Hell for sure. Part 10 for me is going to be Jason X, the nitrogen face smash where he freezes it and smashes it. Again, top 2 or 3 probably kills in the entire series for me.
I have the nitrogen face smash too. I think it was very creative, and I think it was cool how you could see the frozen blood. Like, he smashed it, and then there was like red chunks of ice. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Part 11, Freddy versus Jason is going to be Trey. That's the douchebag boyfriend who Jason folds in half in the bed. Sort of similar to Sheriff Garrison in part 6, but absolutely brutal for me.
I have Trey too, when he gets folded, and like, I think that was just really cool, like showing that he didn't fold a person, he folded the mattress, so the mattress was like folded up, and she walks out of the bathroom and she's like, oh my god, what the frick.
Yeah, really sets the tempo for the movie. The remake for me is gonna be Richie. He's the boyfriend who gets his foot caught in the bear trap, and then Jason runs up on him like. I thought it was just absolutely, that whole scene was just absolutely brutal and intense. And that the fact that it was very realistic, the machete coming down and like hitting the skull and stopping. For me, it's got to be that kill.
I have Amanda in the burning sleeping bag when he hangs her upside down over the fire. I think I think burning to death might be one of the most painful deaths that could happen. And like, I think her feet were tied up in it, so like she could not get out. There was absolutely no way. And I think that was just scary.
Yeah, being burned alive is one of the scariest things I can think of. Okay, so now we're gonna get into what dead character would we bring back if we could, right? Bring back from the dead. For me, Jack. Obviously, Kevin Bacon, huge fan of that character, so I would go Jack, part 1.
I have Brenda. I like Brenda. She got killed on the archery range.
kind of off screen, but we know that it happened, right?
I feel bad for her.
Because you do see her dead, obviously, later in the cabin. For me, part 2 would be Alice, survivor of the original Friday the 13th, the one that beheaded Mrs. Voorhees. They brought her back, and then she died in the beginning of the movie, and I kind of would have liked to have seen more establishment of her character in that movie and kind of how she would have like integrated throughout the movie. So I'm going to go Alice, part 2.
I have Mark, because I remember him saying that he was going to be like, the doctor said that I'm never going to walk again, but you know what? I'm going to walk again. Like, not really.
Right. Part 3 for me, I would bring back Shelley. Obviously, just a goofy, kind of likable character, so I would bring back Shelley.
Me too. I feel bad for him. Like, he was an adorable character. I would have been happy if he didn't die.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. Part 4, bringing back Jimmy Jimbo. Just really, again, like Crispin Glover, would like to have seen him kind of make it a little bit longer throughout the movie, if maybe not until the end.
Yeah, Jimbo. My face smiles whenever he comes on screen, and it made me happy. And then he died.
Part 5, Violet, probably my favorite character of the entire series. I already kind of explained that in my favorite character thing, but would have liked to have seen Violet kind of be a final girl.
I would have liked to see Violet be a final girl too. It made me sad when she died. I was like, she had no reason. Like, she was so cool. What?
Yeah, very cool character. Part 6 for me, I'd bring back Court. Just am a huge fan of that character and would like to see him a little more on screen and kind of a little bit more involved.
I would bring back Sissy. She seems like a cool character. She was fun to watch. Like, she had the sense of humor that I like in characters. So.
Part 7 for me, I'd bring back Eddie. Again, just really like Eddie. Really like that. Really like the character, and wish he would have obviously made it a little bit longer or made it at all.
I have Maddie. She's like the dorky girl, and her best friend kind of like betrayed her and took the guy she liked, even though they were like, oh, we're never gonna get it. And I was like, that's betrayal. That's mean. And then she dies.
Right, and then she ends up dying on top of it. Part 8, Julius. I've said a lot about Julius, but would have liked to have seen him make it.
I have JJ. She plays the guitar. She reminds me of Violet. She looks kind of like that vibe. I was like, I like her hair. She had no reason to die.
Yeah, for sure. Part 9 for me, I'm gonna go Duke. I am gonna go Duke. Just a really cool character, kind of set the tone for what the movie was gonna be. That kind of hard ass bounty hunter. So I really would have liked to see Duke make it.
Same. I have Duke down. I think it would have been cool if he lived. He basically, without him, nobody would have known how to kill Jason. They would have been dead. Like, Jason would be back. They were dead. He also doesn't give a crap about the police either. He was like bad-mouthing the police. I was like, right.
Jason X for me would be Professor Lowe. I just like the guy's temperament. I like the performance of him. One of the funniest lines of the entire series is when he's like, "It's okay, guys. He just wanted his machete back. That's all." And then he gets kind of axed. So I would have liked to have seen him kind of make it to that last ship at the end.
I would bring back Adrian. Funny character, I guess. I like their vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Going to Freddy vs. Jason, I'd bring back Mark, who, he gets the famous kill where he gets his face slashed, and then, Freddy burns on his back that Freddy's back. He's Will's friend. His brother's the one that, they think committed suicide, but obviously was killed by Freddy. I just really liked his character and wish he, kind of would have made it to the end.
I have Mark too. I think that his kill was kind of funny. It said Freddy's back imprinted on his back. But I don't think he had reason to die. He was helping out, and his brother had died. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, for sure. One of those good characters that died. And then finally for the remake, for me, I'll bring back Wade. Wade was the friend who, had the glasses on and was playing Motorhead, what's your
Glow
pride?
stick.
And then finds the weed growing with the glow stick. I just feel like he would have probably brought a little a nice dynamic to the movie had he made it. So I'm gonna go Wade.
I have Jenna. She is Trent's girlfriend. I thought she was like the main character. I kind of felt like she was the main character a little bit, and then she died. I was like, oh, I guess she's not the main character.
Yeah, it was kind of a shocking kill. You thought she was maybe gonna make it, and then didn't end up making it, and kind of got killed in the tunnel. So, she seemed the opposite of Trent, a little bit nicer. Wanted to do the right thing, and then pow, she kind of gets it. You think she might end up with,
the motorcycle guy,
and doesn't, and so for sure. But that's our list. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about the list. Do you agree with our list? What would your list look like if you were to make 3 separate lists of your favorite character, your favorite kill, and what dead character would you bring back from each movie if you could? Again, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Share the video. Give it a thumbs up. Go check out our Friday the 13th series review, in which we break down all 12 movies from our least favorite to our favorite on the channel. And then, be on the lookout for future releases. We had a lot of stuff that we're kind of working on, movies we're watching, videos we're making, so be on the lookout for those. And until the next one, we're out of here.